Grief is not the same for everybody. One person may experience it one way and somebody else may experience it a different way. We talk a lot in this community about grief, but we have to be careful to not compare. Is my grief progressing as well as the person next to me? My name is Tina Fornwald. I am the founder of Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. And I am taking you on a journey with me, reflecting over the early part of my grief in the journal that I use on the passing of my late husband. This week is pretty tricky for me because this is the week of my wedding anniversary with Mark. I stopped counting which anniversary would have been some time ago, but my body still feels the cost. The pain seems a little bit more on the surface than it does on a regular basis. And I can honor that because I still love Mark today. This week, as of everything else, we've been using this book, Understanding Your Grief, 10 Essential Touchstones to Finding Hope and Healing Your Heart. And if you're interested in buying this book, it is down below. Prompt this is misconception number 2, grief and mourning, progress in a predictable and orderly stage. Well, we know that is not true. If we believe that everyone grieves by going through the same stages, then death and grief become much less mysterious and fearsome. If only it were that simple. We have to find ways to unlearn those things that screen us from the perception of proven truth. Never intended for her stages to be interpreted as a rigid linear sequence, but to be followed by all mourners. And that's talking about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, her study on death and dying. A lot of people say that I'm in this stage or that stage, and they compare their grief of losing their loved one, or maybe another thing in life, to the stages that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. But those stages were for people who were close to dying. She did not develop those for the people that were mourning the loss of a loved one, but they have some way morphed into being used. So if you feel stuck and feeling like your grief doesn't measure up with those stages, I invite you to look up an emotional wheel, and I think you'll find your different experiences there. Back to the prompts. Allowing yourself to be where you are. Instead, don't try to force yourself to be in any particular stage. My note to myself, do not try to determine where you are or should be. Just allow yourself to naturally be where you are in this process. Because I was exhausting myself to try to be in this particular stage at this month or this timeline. And I realized I had to tell myself, Tina, just let it be. You cannot control this. And it will be what it's going to be. I'll see you next week.